Hi there, you're welcome back to my channel on Yonsi Thrills. So I got a request to show how to make a padded bustier, and yes, you called and I answered. So join me and let's learn how to make it together. First of all, I'm going to draft it on a pattern paper, and yeah, this I'm going to draft it as though it's on fold. So I'll mark out my ½ inch starting point line. This is just to give it a straight start. And from there, I will take my vertical measurement. First of all, is the shoulder to bust point, which is 11.75. Shoulder to under bust. You need it to tighten your bust to create your curve. Because this will have a side bust start, I will take the front shoulder to waist measurement differently. And what I have is 18.5 inches. Then I added ½ inch allowance. And I'll draw out the lines and, label them. So I'll have the bust, the under bust, and the waist. Then the armhole circumference divided by 2 is 10 inches to give me the chest line. So that's just what I measured and I marked. Alright, so the neck width I want to use for now is 3 inches. That's what I'm marking. The shoulder to shoulder divided by 2 is 8.5. Please use your own measurement. And then I'll mark the same thing down here to give me a straight line for us to draw the armhole line. So that's just what I did. Okay, then for the shoulder slant, because the shoulder is not straight, I came down by 1 inch and I will connect this into the neck width. So for the horizontal measurement, the bust circumference divided by 4, whatever you have, you're going to mark it there, mark it on the chest line, and you also mark it on the bust line. You do the same thing for the under bust, get the circumference divided by 4 and mark it here. Also the waist circumference divided by 4, you are also going to mark it there. Alright, so you connect, but I'll not connect for now. Then for the bust span, to tighten it already, you get a bust span divided by 2. In my case, it is 8.5 divided by 2, 4.25. So that's what I'm marking at the bust, the under bust, and the waist line. Then I'm going to draw a straight line. Then to tighten it on the under bust already, depending on how busty your client is, my own client is not really busty but a little bit above, so I'm going to use 2.5 there. If yours is not busty, you can even use less. So from this side, I just marked 2.5. I want the dart to be on one side. Then on the waist, I marked 2 inches. All right. And from the bust, I came down with 1 inch because I don't want this to have a sharp point to the bust point. Okay, then I'm just connecting as you can see me do. With my curve ruler, I'm creating the cup curve already. Okay, so you can see the dart is just at one side. So these will be out when I'm cutting. For the front armhole, we usually measure what I have there, just as I'm showing you, divide it by 2, and from the midpoint, you're going to go in by ½ inch for the front armhole. This is because of the bust. We have bust at the front. So when you are done, you're going to connect it this way, and then you connect it back into the bust point or the chest mark. All right, so this is the front armhole. Then to create the darts at the armhole, normally they just measure whatever you have there, just as I'm showing you, and you divide it, or rather you find the midpoint, and from there you start making your dart. But simply I'll just come down here by 3 inches. All right, and I want the armhole dart to be just 1.75. It depends on what you want. I just want 1.75, and that's what I'm marking, 1.75. Okay, I just came down by 1.75, and from here I'm going to connect it into the bust point. All right, this is going to give me my armhole dart to tighten it at the armhole part so that it will not slag. Then the number we use to replace that, I'm going to come up from this down part with that 1.75 again, mark it there, because if you do not do this while sewing it together, it's not going to measure up. That one will be lesser. All right, so you have to do it. Whatever that you are taking, you're going to replace it. All right, so when I now measure, you can see if I measure the two, they are now aligning together. The other one won't be shorting. All right, so that's what you're going to do, and I'm just smoothing this place up. After that, the actual neck width I want to use is 6 inches. That's what I'm marking. And also the neck depth for the front, first of all mark 4 inches, and then I'll mark 1.25 inches just to create that that neckline there. Okay, so I'll just create, find my way around it. Just follow what I'm doing, all right? So this is so I've achieved what I want, and I'll clean every other thing. Then I'll go ahead and redraw my armhole curve. If you just want to be sure, measure the darts you're going to take here. Measure it, all right, just as I'm doing. And whatever I have, I'm just going to replace it from here. Mark the same thing, and then I'll recreate the curve with my curve ruler, making sure that the 3 points are connected. Or you can just draw it, regularly. After that, the next thing is to replace every dart intake. So I'm going to measure what I have here. It's not even up to 0.25. Then I'll also replace it. Then on the underbrush, I have 2.5, right? So from the underbrush point, I'm going to replace the dart 2.5. The same thing I will do on the waist, 2 inches. I'll also replace it from the waist measurement, marking 2 inches. Then I'll go ahead and draw out whatever I have, whatever shape I have. Don't mind whatever shape this gives you. Just go ahead and draw it out. Okay. After that, I'll add 2 inches side allowance. That's what I want to use. 2 inches all the way down. And I'll also connect. Now for the side bust dart, literally the front shoulder to waist is usually longer than that of the back because there is bust at the front. So the front side dart will be the difference between the two of them. So in my case, 18.5 minus 17. I measured the back shoulder to waist and it gives me 17 inches. So the difference is 1.5, and that's what I'll mark from that bust point down, 1.5. So I'll now connect it to the bust point just as you can see. Then I'll go ahead to add my sewing allowance, half inch at the armhole, half inch at the shoulder line, half inch at the neckline, and I'm connecting everything just the way I am showing you. So you proceed and do yours. After that, we are going to transfer. I want to transfer the side dart to the waist dart. I don't want to sew anything at the side dart. So this is what we should do just as I'm showing you. All right. Then to make this more flexible, I'm going to cut through the waist dart just this way. Get to the bust point, but please don't cut through. Don't cut entirely. So I'm going to now do this and redraw the line. That is all. Redraw the side allowance too. That is all. We've succeeded in transferring the side dart to the waist dart because I don't want to sew anything on the side. So I'll go ahead and cut everything out just this way, and that will be all for the front. All right, that is all for the front. Then we proceed to cut the back. So this is it. This is the front, how it should be. For the back, we have a difference here. First of all, from the center back, I marked 2 inches for the zipper allowance, and I drew the line straight. Then every other measurement remains the same. The armhole, the shoulder to shoulder, 8.5, the neck 3 inches, the armhole, sorry, okay, the shoulder to waist is 17 inches. Remember, I told you that the shoulder to waist of the back is 17 inches. All right. So that's why we got the difference of 1.5 inches for the side dart. Now, if you want, let's confirm, let's measure. This is the chest. So I'm going to try and align the side. So you can see after sewing the side dart of the front, everything will align. If you're afraid that they may not be measuring the same again, so everything will now align. Okay. Then for the dart, I measured 4.25, 4.25, and we are going to just take a regular dart of 0.5 inch on each side of this, waist dart. That's what I'm marking, 0.5 inches. And then the dart for the back it usually extends to the chest. So that's what I'm just marking to the chest, and then I'm connecting everything. So I'll measure the bust circumference divided by 4, I marked. The waist circumference divided by 4, I marked. But then again, remember this dart, 1 inch. So I'm going to replace it immediately, 1 inch. And then I connect. So the armhole of the back is usually just straight just as I'm showing you. And that is all right, this is all. Then for the zipper bulge, to take care of the zipper bulge, we will just go in by 0.75 of or half inch or 1 inch, however you want it. Then from the tray measurement, I just went in with 0.75 again. And the essence is just to make the zipper side to curve into, the back waist is curved, just to make it curve, all right? So now, okay, the back neck that I use is 3 inches. So I'm just creating it. It's very simple. Then I'm going to redraw my zipper allowance. So this thing I'm doing will now be the zipper allowance. You can see it is now curved to take in that shape of the back waist, okay? That is the essence of zipper bulge, so that it will not bulge there. Then I'm adding 2 inches side allowance, 2 inches, and I'm connecting, all right? Half inch sewing allowance at the armhole, half inch at the shoulder, half inch at the neck. You proceed and do yours. Then I will cut. You see, I'm cutting this out, but I need to replace this. I need to replace that 0.75, because if we do not replace it, it's going to make our waist to be shortened by 0.75. You see, this 0.75 was actually taken out from our waist. If we don't replace it to the side, now measuring it, it is shorter than the actual waist circumference of the client, all right, which we don't want. So I'm going to replace it to the side. Let me add my pepper back, because I forgot and I was just cutting everything. So I'll gum it back then, 0.75. I marked it there. Now we want to create a new side allowance. Then I will now mark my side allowance of 2 inches. That is all. That is all. So I'll connect it back to the bust. Connect this one back to the bust too. All right. So this is now the new side allowance, and this is out of it. So I'll now cut out. This balances the whole equation. So cutting this proper, first of all, this was what I did. I got my fabric. So I got my fabric and first of all ironed this cloth gum. It's like cloth. What you do is, this is the shiny part, it is rough. Then I got my fabric, the wrong side, placed it on it, then ironed and made sure it's stuck to it. So after ironing it, I now went ahead to, arrange it. This is the center fold, right? So I placed this one in fold and then, placed my pattern paper and I went ahead to cut. But remember, this is the joining part. So I left half of an inch joining allowance here. Here already has allowance, the neck already has allowance, the shoulder, the armhole. So just here. And that was the same thing I did for this part too. I folded the fabric, then placed this right on top, as you can see. Then I cut, but leaving half of an inch on this part. Alright, we already have allowance on this side, so that is it. After that, I went ahead to cut it on my wadding. Alright, so yeah, this is my wadding. This is the shiny part. Alright, so I got a wadding, folded it, placed this on top, and then I cut. Alright, I made a mark for the underbust because this wadding is going to stop at the underbust. So that is it. I now went ahead to cut. But after cutting it, I took out half an inch for the neck. I don't want it. I took out half an inch, and I also took out the one of the shoulder. This allowance I took out on the armhole. Alright, so that's how you're going to do yours. You cut it. This one too, you can see this is the underbust. So you place this on your wadding and then you cut. Don't give allowance for the wadding here, as you can see. Don't give allowance on all the way around. Okay, it will just stop at the underbust. So now that you can see, I've already ironed this wadding. Place the shiny part here and ironed even on this one too. I've gone ahead to iron it. So we are done with this. But I've not ironed this one because I need to sew the black stuff going on the front before ironing this wadding. So what I did was to, duplicate this pattern paper, this center piece. So I have it here. So I'll just proceed to, try draw out the shape from near the midpoint. This is the bust. I'm just going to create a curve and draw it down straight. And I'll place it on this and cut, unfold. I also have this one, and the shape there is somewhat like this to the underbust. So I just traced out here. Okay. So I'll cut. I'll use that cut on this two. Okay, I got this from the market and I'll go ahead and to place it like this. Use it to finish the edge of this. When I'm done sewing this part, I'll also run a stitch here. Then do the same thing on this part too. Following the shape. Okay. And on this one too. So after attaching these, I used my gum to, at least gum this part down as you can see. So after attaching that, I'll go ahead and, iron in my wording. Then after that, I'll join the sides. So this is what to do. You start from any side, but I'll start from the down parts. So I'll start sewing here, making sure that, okay, I notched the under bust. So I give a slight cut both on this one and this one. So I'll make sure that they align. So I'll just start sewing. I'm moving it this way to align properly. I'm sewing with 1/2 of an inch. I'm coming up, going this way. All right. I'm sewing. So that's how I will sew this part. And for this side too, okay, you also turn it like this. Start from down. This is the knot for my under bust. I notched it and I notched on this one too. Align, then I'll start sewing with 1/2 of an inch. Start sewing, I'm moving this also 1/2 of an inch. Alright, 1/2 of an inch. Keep moving it 1/2 of an inch. Yeah, you just take your time until you get to this point. And here is how I iron the wording to this to avoid burning the lace fabric. So I've done just that, following what I told us. Look at it. Okay, so then you will slightly cut. Cutting slightly helps it to relax, but please don't cut through the seam. Look at it. So I've notched it on the bust, because this is curved. I've notched it. So just what I did here, I also did it on the lining, and if you can see, I ironed hairstay to the lining too. I ironed the hairstay to the lining, all right, and I've also gone ahead to notch it too. So now I'll use my tailor's hammer. We need to open up this, sprinkle water. I like to sprinkle water along this part. Then with my iron, I'll go in. So you see, with water helps it to just, relax immediately. And that's what I'm going to just keep doing until I open every seam up. So I hope you can see how relaxed it is now, right? Okay. And this, you can see. Then the next thing is to turn it with the lining. So right side facing right side, I'm going to sew. And while sewing, I'll be aligning this hemming gum and sewing together. So I'll sew with 1/2 of an inch. I'll align it to this part. I'll sew that part. I'll also sew this one with 0.25. sew this side with 0.25. Okay, so I've done that. This is the neck and this is the side. So I'll turn it. So you see that? Okay, you know we iron hair stay at this part, so for that reason I will try and push this back, then go ahead and iron so that this will glue for the lining not to be coming out to the front. Alright, look at it. You can see the neck and look at it from behind. Very much curved. Okay, so we've come to the end of this tutorial on how to make a bustier. I'll just go ahead and join it to the down part, then join it on the shoulder with the back, and then just sew the sides. So that will be all. And if you enjoyed this tutorial, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, like, and also do well to share. If you have any suggestion on the next tutorial, go ahead and drop it on the comment section. For now, that will be all. Thank you for watching and staying with me. See you on my very next one. Bye bye.